Hiya!
Bingo!
Hello, my honeys. How are you? Not looking at your answer. I'm going to do that again.
Wait,
Hello,
shit, I didn't realise that we were actually starting.
Oh.
I wouldn't have just gone bingo for my...
Yeah, I was like. Hello, my honeys. It's me, Tayris Mongardi.
Hello, my darlings. It's me, Daphne.
And welcome back to week 8. Is this 8 gag of the gag? Because we ain't got a gig.
But at least we've got the gag and a never-ending TV show to review.
Man, damn. No, I'm in the quarantine. I'm not doing anything else. I'm enjoying it.
So we have the extra episodes where no one went home until the 4th episode. Then we have a double save where no one goes home. And then next week we've got a coronavirus special.
Well, I heard it was because they'd booked episodes that like Drag Race Celebrity, which I think count our blessings, that's not happening. But obviously, like, because of COVID, they couldn't bring people in, so they just had extra episodes to use, so they used them for this, and maybe a season that may follow, we don't know, wink.
I truly feel like COVID's going to be ended by the time that we get to the live finale crowning of this series.
I think you're being very optimistic with them. It's going to be Zoom again. How have you been? How have you been this week? How are you popping off on social media?
I'm alright. I'm not really popping off on social media. My blisters are kind of popping somewhat though.
Oh.
I'm still bed bound.
I am cooking in all my own juices in this vinyl, but all the best steak cuts are marinated, so I'm all good. I'm vegetarian, so I wouldn't know, but in theory.
Keeping it mellow yellow with your...
Yeah. Don't eat the yellow.
I don't know.
Ew!
I don't know.
That's what they say. That's what they say in Dan and Day, innit? Like, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. So you don't flush a toilet when you piss, because like the water and stuff.
I was expecting the second half of that to rhyme as well. So no. Like, if it's yellow, let it mellow. If it's brown, flush it down. And then if you got the toilet, then you don't flush it at all.
You know, no, that's my verse. So the episode begins with the aftermath of losing Lalaurie, the Satan the drag, or whatever she said. And my heart is heavy, but my titties are full.
Did you not feel massive hole?
I didn't. Not in my quarantine, girl. I've been out of action for a while now.
Stop it.
Also, high key, I hope Daphne keeps this in. Yo, she did me so dirty last week because she left in the bit where I talked about my vibrator, but proceeded to cut out the bit after she was yakking on about a dilator. So I was like,
I didn't dilate! Right, okay. The reason why I didn't include this was because you were like, oh, Daphne shows me pictures of her dilating all the time. And I was like, wait, that just does not sound like anything I would do ever. And I realised, no, it's just because any time that you're just like looking over me when I'm going through my photos on my phone, you're like, oh, why show me that? I'm like, well, you're literally over my shoulder right now.
Okay, but why are you just looking at them with your own looking like, oh, that was a good one. Like...
Because I don't have a viewing to know, I don't have a mirror, so I can't check how deep I am, and so I have to get out my phone so I can use it as a mirror.
So Utica's also reeling from always having to lip sync again, and got my paternal quality when I see these young, even though she's probably like 10 times older than me, these little young girlies like, oh, I just don't, I'm doing the best I can. I was like, you go get them, girly. But
she's the same age as us.
Is she? I feel like I'd say she's like 26, 27.
No, she said remember when she was like, how old is everyone? She went 24.
Oh, gag, well, good for
her. Same age as us.
Cut that. PD, edit that out. What is it?
Period.
Also, Piss My...
Did you notice how much Denali said period this episode? I don't really know what it is with, like, I know that lots of people are saying it nowadays, but I always thought you had to kind of, like, add it with, like, you had to say something and go, and that's on period. Maybe I'm just sounding a bit old now, but I thought that's what the meme was. But now people are just going, period!
I mean, we're getting ahead of ourselves, but I think you're the kind of boomer Miss Toctic is talking about. But we'll get there, And Miss Denali, like, call her tomato mozzarella panini, because she is pressed, mama. Like, she is not happy that they're sleeping on her. Did your school sell... I know you dropped out of school. Did your school sell paninis?
Yeah, Urban Eats.
Yeah,
Urban Lunch, Urban Eats.
They only had 2 different vegetarian options. They had like cheese and tomato and pizza sauce, and otherwise there were all these hideous ones like Chinese chicken or whatever. And I'd always run.
Yeah.
Sports bar for
I remember there was always like a chicken tikka panini.
Yeah, tea. And I remember atting when the lunch ladies, but I loved it when I was head boy because I had the clout by then. I was like, this is not good enough.
You were head boy?
Yeah, or head girl tonight, mama. But yeah, I was head boy. Yeah. I remember being like, Miss Thing, like, where are the veggie options? And she was like, well, we've tried them, but nobody bought them. I was like, what? It's like, we tried cheese and pickle, nobody bought it. We tried honey and banana, nobody bought it. I was like, so it's a foul. I was like, it's a foul, madam.
Honey and banana.
Yeah, I was like, Tina, I was like, girl, I don't like eating bananas because it feels when I eat bananas in public.
I've never once heard of that combination.
Yeah,
I've never heard of a honey and banana sandwich.
I'm sure they're all rancid.
A honey banana panini?
Yeah.
Toasted?
Yeah, breast, mama. And I was like, what? And I mean, I don't like eating...
What, so hot, mushy banana with honey gluing it to a dry panini?
Tea, mama. And the thing is, I was like, I don't even like eating bananas in public anyway, because it does feel racially charged. So like, oh yeah, it makes sense. When they see me, they're like, like peeling it, you know. But there's a break time and lunch where my two sisters, Eric and Libby, so basically, the three of us are running to get our pizza sauce panini, now only two left. And Eric and Libby snatched them, so I had to go with that. I had to get some hideous, like, sweet and sour pot or whatever. But they ate them, and that's been like no more than like 10 minutes later in lunch. So they were both like, is your stomach feeling really funny? And I'm like, yeah. And like by the end of lunch, we both ran to the toilets holding their bums because they were going to shit themselves.
On the last day of school one year, there was a bunch of year 11s that put laxatives in the like slushy machine. I don't know how or where they got these laxative from, but basically it was like a whole big thing of like in the afternoon classes, loads of people had to just like walk out and go home.
The girls found out they're doing social media, the Unverified Rusical, which, you know what, I was like, what is this concept? Watching it, I was like, oh, okay, I get what they were going for. But when they said it, I was like, I have no idea what's happening, mama.
The same person that came up with Farmer Rusical was definitely the same person that came up with this.
I mean, what app would you have been? I want to say I'm a grinder, but I think I'm actually too PG for that. Have you seen that high heels game that's always on Instagram? Like, you basically walk... Yeah, that's me. What's your app?
I don't know, probably episodes. I like a bit of drama, I like a bit of story content.
No, I don't feel like episodes. I'd be like, maybe for you like a...
I like making people pay for unnecessary drama as well.
I feel like you're more of like a growler.
What?
Growler, the bear network.
What's Growler?
The one for bears.
Looking at the roles of the actual apps that they used, which one would you had gone for? Because I know you're a musical theatre.
Don't troll on my crusade. I'd be part of that Foxy audition about me wants this. I think the only ones that I'd be like, mama, that's not for me. I don't want like Instagram because I'm not cool. I mean, Simone is cool, so it should have worked in my favour. But I'm not cool. And
see, that's the one I would have wanted.
Well, I mean, I can see it for you, but I don't think I'm cool enough to pull it off. But my hard no would be Miss Tactic. I was like, yeah, go no.
Yeah, no, that's awful. I would play it like a Love Island influencer who classifies going to Dubai as like essential work.
So we see a little clashing of heads when, firstly, I gagged in a good way when Denali and Rose first were like, oh, I want this part, and Denali's like, okay, well, I'll happily accept the other part, and Utica's like, no, bitch, that part's mine, like, what are you doing? And she's like, okay, well, yes, you have me sing.
But then Elliott, shady little Elliott producer, being like, well, why don't you two come up and sing your parts and we'll judge together, with the most obnoxious laugh.
I think...
Can we talk about... I don't know if they're enhancing Elliott's laugh, but I heard his shrill little nasal so many times throughout the episode when he wasn't there.
I think maybe...
I was like, where is he coming from?
I do think maybe they quite like the soundbite in the same way they love the Jade Jolie one, so they'd always put it at the end of whatever she says, like...
The best acting that they all did, all episode, was when the girls listened to Denali's and they were like, just as much as Rose was, because they were so conscious on trying to like be as kind as possible.
Yeah, I know.
But like, she did not hit it as much as Rose.
I know, it was a shame. Simone's vocals rotted, like, so unpleasant. I'm not here for it. And I know, you know, we can't all have every gift. Like, I still can't fit into a sample size, though. We're all flawed.
This is why I would want to play that part as well, because I'm not a singer, so I would want to go with the parts that I think have the most amount of, like, opportunity to go with a character, like this Instagram one or, like, the LinkedIn one. So I don't, especially because she's literally from California, I don't know why she didn't just go in Talkie Valley Girl.
Perhaps, yeah.
option, because it's a good way to kind of show that you have a character, get away with not being able to have like the best voice,
Yeah.
And playing it up, and I feel like this character is literally the most like you could just get away with just being a California bimbo.
Yeah, T.
I would be very, very shocked if someone else who played this Foxy part, other than Rose, didn't win this challenge.
Yeah, T.
I feel like this Foxy part was literally like, this is the winner's
role.
Let's showcase, because they were just like unnecessarily in scene. Like, why was she in the scene with the Facebook guy? And then also in it at the end.
So we're having another little workroom chat. They're talking about this week's traumas. And so I felt bad because, cut back to like, I think maybe week 1 of the gag. It was week 2. It was when the winners all came together. And then I mentioned about people calling her Pitbull Aja. And she brings it up when people they're like, oh yeah, everyone called me Fat Aja. And I was like, not me already having laughed about that on the gag.
How do you feel about your cyberbullying past?
Yeah, if you don't know, guys, I actually went viral a couple of years ago because I met Demi Lovato in this bar and I told her how much I loved her work, and she called me fat and she flicked my vagina and she made whale noise at me. So, I get it. I get the online world of bullying.
I know for a fact that wasn't you that did that, but for like a half a second I was like, was that you? Oh my god! But I know that wasn't fucking you. Are you okay? Pitbull Aja? And then Denai talks about how she wants to fuck animated characters, which is something that you can relate to quite a bit.
Mama T. Right, I knew this was coming. This is my moment. So basically, guys, I don't know if any of you everyone was like, ooh, I was like, God, that's like kind of common consensus in my mind. For instance, one of my besties, Eric, I hope you're watching, probably don't, because, they were in love with Simba. So when I wrote my I'm in love verse for season All Stars 5, as I do when I'm at home, I wrote about Mufasa as a tribute to them.
The thing is, that Mufasa I can understand. Being in love with Simba, Well, Simba
grows up into... I don't think it was Simba, when he's in the elephant graveyard. I think it's Simba when he's an adult. Oh, wow. How coming of age. But for me, the childhood crush, right, Huns. I don't know if you know the Animaniacs. Wacko from the Animaniacs was so there's the 3 of them, and there's the older one and the little sister, and the middle one, Wacko, who for some reason is randomly Scouse, even though the other 2 are American. And oh my god, such a Hun. And he sings that song where he's the capitals of the US, da 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 dee da da do da 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 dee da 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 dee dee. Do you know what I'm talking about? And I remember literally being 6 and shedding cinematic single tears. He can never be my boyfriend because he's not real, and I need a moment, it's still too soon. God. Rest in peace, Wacko.
I can assure you there's never going to be a day where I consider that okay. There's one thing having a crush on a cartoon character that's a human, but all of your crushes seem to be animals for some reason.
Yeah, Tayris is my drag persona. Wolfbane Nightcloud is my persona. DAPHNE, right, I want your opinion on this. Would you date someone who is a furry? Because...
No.
Let me finish, Mama, let me finish. Let's get this.
Are you trying to justify your new boyfriend?
In some ways, dating a drag queen is essentially the same thing, isn't it? For your own personal enjoyment, you've created a character that's far removed from yourself. And then you dress up as this character and going about in a controlled setting that's relevant to what you're doing, whether it's a drag con or a fur con or whatever, And I was like, they're kind of the same thing, aren't they? Do you not think?
No, because we're not fucking each other with tails in our
okay, period. Pause, Mama. Firstly, that's called yiffing, and not all furries. I've looked it up. Not all furries yiff.
I'm sure you have looked it up, babe. It would be a lot more interesting if I went to FurCon, but I didn't. I just watched a video of the FurCon parade, and there was all these furries, and then there was just this one at the end of this boy that was completely painted green.
I can't stop saying you're laughing, Joy.
He was painted green and had a Kermit the Frog mouth. And wore this massive oversized t-shirt and all these chains. And I just remember me and my friends, we just became obsessed with it and just started calling him Frat Boy Kermit. And I don't know if you've ever airdropped me something before, but my picture is that little boy. I'm presuming he was a little boy, and it just says Frat Boy Kermit on it.
Oh.
I have to explain that story every single time someone's airdropped me something.
Speaking of green skin, I remember when the Hunger Games movie came out, I wanted to make sure I'd read the book, because me and a big group of friends, we were all going to go see it in like costume, and I was like, well, I'll go as Sinner.
Not in costume?
Yeah, Mama, we were...
How old were you?
14, 15.
Too old.
Mama, I regret nothing. So there was a big group of like 12 of us, and we all went as a different character, and I went as Sinner. And Eric went as one of the people from the Capitol, and in the book, they talk about how the Capitol members like dye their skin based on like, what's trendy. So Eric went in like green face with like a purple wig. And then when he watched the movie, they'd cut that thing out, so everyone just looked normal, so I was like a fucking normal.
I'm just imagining I'm just imagining you walking into a cinema going to watch Hunger Games, and the first thing you see is the front row and all of these little kids. No, all of these grown teenagers dressed up, sitting there waiting to watch the show.
The thing is, most of the characters dress kind of normally. Like me, I was Sinner, so all I did was like black shirt, black trousers with some gold eyeliner, which, you know, I'd serve now. But I was like, poor Eric, I'll send you the picture after we're done filming.
Next to Eric, who's in full green.
She was in Guiche Mama.
Sorry, I'm just still picturing it.
We get into social media, the Unverified Rusical. I think I kind of prefer the Rusicals where they don't actually have a long-lasting narrative, like like Madonna or like Divas Live, whatever, because then it feels less like there's standout parts and like less standout parts. I mean, aside from maybe Simone, there wasn't anyone I was like, they're terrible.
I felt like other than the bottom two, I feel like everyone was very safe.
Yeah, absolutely.
And it felt like it was like a bit of a stretch to come to a conclusion of who was in the third bottom, and I think that decision was jank. That was ridiculous. Well, I will come back to that in a bit. I think my only real problem actually aesthetically with the whole musical was I'm sure she wasn't fully in charge of the costume, but why is Olivia in a like grey tank vest and mum jeans? Okay, no. We need to get into this. In my opinion, I don't know if they bought their own outfits for this. If RuPaul has the audacity to go off on Joe Black for wearing a H&M dress, which, you know, it wasn't the greatest dress, but it was a lot more fabulous than what fucking Olivia Lux was wearing. I have no idea why he has not caught her out on wearing another wife beater, this time in grey, so she can show off her sweat, which you very much saw throughout the rest of the thing. And then these weird, like, cut at the leg. These jeans were disgusting. I don't care about drag queens wearing jeans, but these jeans were vile.
I mean, I kind of do.
I cannot believe he did not. Well, I mean, she wasn't in any position to like be spoken to or like be critiqued. But I was just like, how he can go off on Joe Black on this massive big rant and then just not say anything about this grey wife beater. Oh my Christ.
Yeah. So obviously we had our initial opinions based on just like hearing the kind of track and that, but actually watching the whole performance, was there any part that you're like, I wish that was me?
Yeah, Simone's. Like, you could have really worked with that. Elliott, like, the song was cringy, but to me, TikTokers are cringy. So I would have gone like full amp with that, and I felt like that was massive missed opportunities.
But the thing is, I think they didn't want Elliott to sell it in that way. Like the whole like I got what they were doing, like, but I thought the whole
15 seconds to save the world.
I was like, I thought it was so cringy. It was clearly written by somebody who is older about what they think Gen Z is like. I mean, you and I are technically on the cusp of like millennial Gen Z. When they're like, boomers, this song ain't for y'all. I was like, oh.
Was it that guy that sat behind the recording thing?
Oh yeah, it was.
Because I really like the parallel of like UK Drag Race. We had MNEK, like Grammy, like award winning, like really fresh, really cool, and then we had fucking rusty old Joe over here being like, give me Billie Eilish, give me Billie Eilish. Listening to Tina Burner being like, oh, you sound current and hip.
Tina Burner is classic old girl at Legends, like, I'm your Venus, I'm your fire, your desire.
Tina Burner sounded like she was performing at Affinity Bar and we
Mama.
were walking past just on our way to the
Tea.
gig being like, oh god, what kind of racket is that? I remember a time when I was walking to Revenge and it was like a Sunday afternoon at like 5 o'clock and I was walking down St. James Street and I walked past Affinity and I could hear a fucking old racket. Someone just wailing their heart out. I was like, oh god, who's this singing? Her name was Lola. I go in. 2 people there. Sitting there with their pints, just watching Charlie Hides give her little rendition.
If she wasn't racist, wouldn't that be a gag casting for season 3 of Drag Race UK? Walking in there and her being like, oh, my rib hurts.
She was the guest judge on the finale of Portsmouth Drag Race, and she came in to do her little like half an hour stand-up set. I lasted 2 seconds. Genuinely, I couldn't do it. Within the first minute, she made some kind of like a Taliban joke. Like, I was like, why? But why?
And that...
I think she's trash. I think she's absolutely fucking trash.
And that's on old. I thought Utica's was jokes. He was like, oh, it's very Hamilton. And I was like, if anything, it's very like Pirates of Penzance. Like, what is the song like? I am the very model of a modern major general. Don't know what I'm like.
I thought it was very 1 week bare naked ladies. Do you remember that song?
I literally hate you. I hate
It's
you.
been 1 week since you looked at me. Also, going right back to the casting of it, when she was like, I have to have this role because it's a sign. It's Barbra Streisand and she's actually my idol. I'm like, okay, a gay has an idol in fucking Barbra Streisand. That's not a sign.
The category is yellow gorgeous. What are you wearing, Daphne? Look lovely.
Oh, thank you so much. This actually, from this angle, I don't know if it's just because I'm in the bed or not, it looks like a little night shirt, which I'm not kind of not annoyed at. But I'm wearing this lovely little yellow question mark. I feel like maybe this is kind of teetering on the edge of like golden green.
I think it looks kind of like olive mustard.
What about you, my darling? What are you wearing?
I'm wearing this
today?
gorgeous...
What are you wearing?
What are you wearing, babes?
Keep it on.
Yeah, you want to see what's underneath, girl, not these baps, no. I'm wearing this gorgeous little yellow vinyl jumpsuit with like a disco hat. It's custom made with my friend Renette, what a hun. And yeah, I feel like, do you know what? If I put a couple of stones on the perimeter of this, I would happily wear this on the Drag Race runway, and that
Well, of course.
is on yellow.
This is one of your signature pieces. Whenever I think about you, I kind of think about this look.
So do I, yeah.
Honestly, just seeing you on FaceTime earlier just reminded me of going to the club and I got really
I know. First up on the runway is Tina Burner. Okay, I'll admit, when I heard it was yellow, I was like, no. I was hiding behind the pillow like, what's she gonna pull out this time? I thought it was gorgeous. This black hair on her, woof, mama. This is my favourite outfit she's worn on the runway, period.
Really?
Yeah, I thought because it was so flattering. I think she's had like some silhouette issues, like perfectly nipped and all that in the right places. You know, like a trompe l'oeil plump titty. I would have, my only critique, if anything, I would have maybe like if the like lights on the tits were like more like a dome and less like an actual presser headlight. But I mean, I didn't really have anything I could probably critique this on. This is, in my opinion, this is the best she's looked.
Okay, I really dislike this. So, as soon as she turned around, my first reaction was, oh, what's she dressed as now? I don't think she can ever just be Tina Burner. She can never just be Tina Burner. Like, it's always got to be a gimmick. It's always got to be some kind of costume. She's obsessed with shoving things on her tits.
I think...
When has she... Literally, try and remember a look that she had where she didn't have something on her boobs.
Oh no, I was going to say her gaggy skater skirt that you love, which had the harness, didn't she? Gag, yeah.
Oh, it's just annoying. It's just tacky. I would have loved it if she came out in just that yellow sequin gown and had really glamour makeup. And I agree, I like the black hair on her.
Yeah.
I don't know, just exhausting.
Next up is Olivia Lux. She looks really, really expensive, like work. Period.
I love this. I want these little cuffs so much. I want to wear it as a wig.
T.
Ugh,
I was like,
wouldn't that be so gorgeous?
I mean, if my only critique, which isn't even a critique, I'd actually see what it looked like. I don't know whether I prefer it with the bare hand or if she had like a yellow like satin glove. So like,
oh,
just a nice,
that would have looked gorgeous because that would have looked like it connected with the glove.
Exactly, yeah, and
yeah.
it didn't even need to. I would have maybe put her in the bottom, but I can understand why seeing her runway presentation brought her up. Next up is Simone. Okay, I really like the coat. I'm actually not crazy about this. I think it might be my least favourite thing she's worn. Like, it was fine.
My least favourite thing she's worn so far.
It wasn't a bad look by any stretch of the means. The hair was really cool, but I just was like, it was on probably one of my less favourites on the runway.
So I saw this look first on Instagram when she was sitting on the big hairspray.
The hairspray, yeah.
And in my mind, because this is ridiculous. How would have she got that to Drag Race? In my mind, I thought that was her runway look. And so when she came out, I was a bit like, oh.
Yeah.
But then I was a bit like, okay, well maybe I'm just disappointed because she didn't bring out this thing. But actually, no. I thought she would go a lot more creative than this. Yellow is one of those categories where you can do so much. Like when you, as we said before, when you get like a material or a colour, when that's the category, you could do so much with
It's
that.
very freeing,
and
yeah.
I'm always the most excited to see where Simone's mind goes when it comes to receiving these briefs. And like, honestly, I'm disappointed.
But I think her fashion standard has been set so high. And like any girl who's like a look girl on the show, you always have to have a couple of weaker ones because not everything can be at this phenomenal level, especially on your first time around when like money is a restriction. So I just think it's unfortunate that she's just followed like the beaded runway and the LeMay runway and all these like stellar runways, one that's like still nice, but just not perhaps on the level of what she presented so far. Next up is Utica. I just kind of didn't get it. Like the hair was kind of cool.
I love this. So the clash of the patterns, I think, were perfectly placed. Like there has been times before where she has mixed patterns where I've been a bit like, oh, there's a risk, but at least you're doing it. But for me, the placement of the patterns were just as exquisite as it was in her entrance look, which I know you didn't like. But to me, the choices of which pattern went with which was exquisite in her entrance look, and I got the same with this as well. I love the silhouette of this. I didn't know anything about this like sleeveless dresses and like sideless dresses. So I thought that was really interesting. I thought the silhouette was really gorgeous.
Next up is Candy. Okay, so I think from the neck up, I think it's the best she's looked. I think like really pretty. Like, and her makeup, we've seen there's been some clunkers, but like quite beautiful to be honest. Beyonce's dress looks really expensive, and this one again, I hate to keep talking about like expensive as a like be all end all like positive trait about the show, because ultimately like we're all working artists. Money is a restriction when you go on the show, but I just thought the fabric made it look cheaper than the dress probably was.
The only thing for me, Beyonce was not wearing a bindi in the original one. I don't know, like I don't want to be like automatically like cancel, but I just my first mind was like, ooh, why?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean.
So like it's not like it was in the original one as a reference, and it's not. I don't know. I might be completely unaware of her kind of heritage, but it's just not a culture I thought she was from. I don't know.
I would have maybe lost the bindi, not even because of like the culture references, but because I think it slightly like I think that also kind of cheapened it slightly, because I think that it went from being this like gorgeous like summery flowery thing, as soon as you put that jewel on, or even if it was like a headdress or something, like it kind of looks like I'm a festival goer, if you know what I mean. And then I was like, oh. But I mean,
so I'm expecting her to have those neon dots around her eyes.
Yeah, T-mama.
Next up was Miss Elliott with 2 T's. I loved it. Oh, okay. I'm so glad we're on the same page. So peng. To me, my opinion, this is my favourite moment of the week. Yeah, same. Okay. So when she was talking about Tina's and she was like, Tina's is a little bit dated. I thought that this was dated. This look was dated in the best, most tackiest, gaudiest way. Yeah. This is the 80s style that I see that she has that I'm like, oh, here for this 100%. And this is where I think in her head, her entrance look was kind of similar to this, because it was the short jacket with the big puff sleeves. I love this. I absolutely love this. The colours, the patterns were impeccable. I love the little Fair 1000. That was so cute. The hat. I thought it was gorgeous.
You know what? These last couple Elliott runways have been banging. Like, good for you, girl.
She's bringing it on the runway, honestly. I don't know if it's just because I was really expecting nothing from her, but she's really been bringing it.
Next up we have Rosé. Okay, I really love the mask as a reference. I thought it was V-Cam. I actually was going to do a mask look years ago, but I wasn't good at makeup, so couldn't nail that down. I wanted something different in the silhouette, but I didn't know what. So initially I thought a gown, but I was like, I don't think a gown works. A tuxedo gown, like a la like Joe Black, David Bowie. I would like something to be changed, but I don't know what it is. But actually, as a whole, I did kind of like the look.
I don't understand what this is. I don't understand the reference, so I'm not going to really pass much judgment.
So
like I can't really, I can't compliment her makeup because, like.
Yeah, so basically the mask is a Jim Carrey film where he puts on this like old ancient mask he finds. It transforms into this weird like cartoonish character, and the mask character wears like a yellow like zoot suit, a yellow like jazz star suit with like polka dot like necktie and like a pocket square and stuff. And obviously whenever he puts a mask on, his like face all goes like bright green. So like the reference was like hitting the nail on the head. Like you couldn't say she did it wrong in any way. It was just kind of like, huh. But I guess yeah, for someone like you, you're like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, it sounds absolutely hilarious. So next up was got Mick. I know that Denali did Airbag.
Yeah.
But to me, this was so similar in the realm of like crash dummy airbag kind of thing, and I marginally preferred Denali's look and also presentation of it.
Yeah, T.
I thought this was naff. I thought it was really naff, and especially with this kind of reminded me of, you know, in UK Drag Race when they were reading Sister Sister for having the blue extensions on top of her mummy head. I was this is even worse in my mind because this is literally just like 3 random bits of like sheer trimmings that she just kind of punked on.
So many people have gone for such like artistic directions with their looks, and they keep like overlapping, like not only with the 2 taxis, but the 2 air dummies and the 2 like boxer punching bag looks, and then immediately like you're just comparing one to the other. Because I'm sure if I hadn't seen Denali's, I'd be like, oh, kind of work. But I still liked it. I preferred Denali's, not only look but presentation.
I prefer Denali's yellow look though.
Yeah, Mama, I think I was not into it, girl. Like,
it's just so dull.
Firstly,
this is yellow. You can do so much with this, and like I guess, like it was meant to be the python, but like if you're playing a python, why are you not wearing a gorgeous slinky gown that's going to be going and slinking all down the runway with a little train? Like, someone should have done snake for trains.
What Lala redid?
Oh shit! I completely forgot. She's not even cold yet.
This really needed to be like actual snake skin, or like not even like real snake skin, like fake snake skin. My least favorite part of this whole outfit was the like weird like stretch of fabric she had connecting her arms at the back. I was like, I don't like that. I mean, like she said, her main focal point was the headpiece, which is really gaggy. I loved, but also again like. Sorry to keep comparing Queen's outfits, but we saw Veronica Green, you know, rest in peace, turn out a super gaggy snake headpiece that she made. I saw on her Instagram, she made out of herself out of just random tubing. And so I'm like, you can't look at that and then see this a couple weeks later and like be blown away by the headpiece, which is unfortunately the focal point. So the tops and the bottoms, do you agree? Because I know I don't agree again.
I agreed with all of the tops. I agreed with the bottom too. For me, anyone that was safe could have been there instead of Tina. I have no idea why she was put there. She carried the entire thing through. Confused. I am confusion.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, when they called it all forward, I was surprised because I was like, is Tina? I thought Tina would maybe be in the top when I saw they were calling forward. And then they were like, oh, you didn't lip sync for that tiny bit at the end. I was like, I thought that was purposeful. Like, it was just, I don't remember not doing that. I thought it was a classic, like, oh, look, I'm dying, Lol, here I go. And then she, like, died.
Yeah.
I didn't think it came across she stopped lip syncing, you know?
Oh, my God, sorry. Wait, we completely just didn't talk about their chat with Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway gave such weak advice. Such, like, real mediocre advice. One piece of advice including, I don't know, I guess make as much noise before you die. I think if she gave a little bit better advice, maybe Tina might not have been on the bottom.
But I mean, also, she doesn't know the material they're working with. It's just like, oh, I don't know, like, ham it up. Like, what can you say? And I also think it was interesting, like, hearing people try to match the questions to what they needed from her. Like, the whole, like, what would you say if your friend doesn't get the part they want? You're gonna be like, oh, well, make a storyline out of it, Denali. You know what I mean? Like, in my mind, I would have maybe put the tops as Rosé, Denali, and Tina. I thought she did a really solid job. So I was quite surprised when she was in the bottom. My bottom 3 would have been Candy, Simone, and a toss-up between either Elliott, but but only because I hate their part. So that's actually got nothing to do with their performance, because I was like, that part is so cringe. But also,
no, she could have done a lot more with it.
But then
even the bit when she was like, Mom, get out. She was like, Mom. Like, it was just like, she could have done a lot more.
Or maybe Olivia, but again, I think both of their runways were so strong that it saved them both. So I was kind of like, so I guess I don't agree with Tina, but you know, I think it was very clear from the jump of the critiques who was lip syncing and who wasn't.
So we get on to the lip sync. Simone wins this. Simone won this flat out. I do not care what you're gonna say. They are keeping Candy around for a very specific reason. One reason I do not know. Simone killed this.
I do disagree. I thought Simone was really boring. And so in my when I watched it, I was like, okay. So I thought, firstly, I did not see, I guess there's also a skill in like calmness and lip sync. I didn't see any fight from Simone. I guess you could argue, do I want too much from Candy or too little from Simone? I guess in the theatre world, it's always better to give too much than too little. But I was like, in my mind, when I saw the double save happen, I was like, okay, this to me, obviously, yeah, I think they're also saving Candy for drama or for whatever. I was like, to me, I think Candy beat her, but it's not unheard of that we've seen before.
How?
When it's not.
How? In what bit did Candy do that she beat her?
For me, everything past do the nay. I was like, Simone didn't do anything to me that was that entertaining past that moment. And again, we've seen like all the... No,
I think that's bull. I think you're literally just trying to disagree with me on something. I do not believe that you genuinely... I don't think Simone was that entertaining at all. I think she could have done way more. And if she was lip syncing against anyone else, she would have lost, personally. But you cannot tell me that Simone did not do more things than Candy did. What did Candy do other than go to the back and then randomly like walk forward where all of her cheap bits of like yard fucking yellow fabrics were kind of like going all over the place. Say, and then she did that weird drop to the floor. No.
Look, she kicked, she did the like pussy thump against the floor, she did all these little bits. Aside from Simone putting her salute up like, I pledge allegiance, and then not lip sync. Also, what I noticed, which I thought...
And then the hilarious bit where she went behind her. I want a gif of that, where she was...
And my other thing...
She was like...
My other thing was that...
I loved it. I thought it was lovely.
My other thing was that Candy was like lip syncing the lead vocal, whereas... Simone was lip syncing the backing vocal just to...
Yeah, ad-libs. And that's what I do. So, this was this week's episode of The Gag.
It was, yeah, it was.
Have a lovely week. We love you ever so much.
So naff. Ching ching, my honey.
Wait, do we need to do some...
Strokes?
Just realised we hadn't done it.
Done what?
I was gagging.
Oh, so...
Right. Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.